Now here's one that I like to find. It's not easy to find these. This, as you can see, it's totally black. And it's, you can read, I think I can read it. Mission dry. Mission sparkling water 36. So we got a black Mission bottle along with the smile. So I'll keep you going. This is a very common this is either sour cream, or I would assume it was yogurt or something like that. Usually sour cream. It's a Sheffield, very common in this area, but it's something anyway. As you can see, I'm down here. I want to go down a little further, see how far I can go until I stop hitting glass, and then I'll scrape around. It looks okay. We just got to keep going. Well, let's do a little live dig if we can see what we're doing here. We got some bottles. Broken milk. Dig up here. There's a bottle right over here. There's one over back there. You can see this dump is pretty much jammed with bottles. So it's like, and they're jammed, you know. I'm sorry, I can't. That's just a jar. You can see there's a bottle there. Get the top off this. There's a use layer of newer stuff right here, and it's right along. Let's get this thing out. I don't know what this is. It's, get underneath it if I can. A lot of metal. A lot of metal. But it's so old you can bust it apart. There's another, it's a weird jar. Don't know what that is. And I don't need to know it. Break through that. And there's a this bottle here. It's fairly loose, so I'll just pull it out and see what it is. Probably feels like a food bottle. Not doing it. And by Jove, it is. Go over here. I mean, when I first came here and started scraping around, I was finding all kinds of sodas on the top. But now, I'm not seeing any. Just seeing a bunch of broken shit. Pardon my French, but I'm fluent in that language. Hey, there's something, see, what is that? All kinds of weird stuff here. If this don't pan out, I've got plenty of other places around here to find stuff, so it's not going to be a loss. Brown. This upper layer was where I was finding the sodas, but that's not going to be the case today, I don't think. Live digs don't work out just because, to be honest with you, it really takes hours to get enough bottles to make a video. It's not easy. It's not like they're just jumping out at you. So let me dig the rest of this out, go a little further, and I'm off to other things. Thank you. Well, looks like there's a soda coming out here. So let's see what it is. Looks like a soda. There's a little fancy perfume bottle. It's some kind of beverage. I don't know what it is. And as you can see, well, it's a chipped up glass. Bar glass with a heavy bottom. That's what made me think it was. And it goes all the way down. There's a bottle down there. Let's see if I can get that for you. It's all the way down. All the way down. I'm hitting other stuff here, but really all I want is just that. This right here. What is this? Of course, a plain Jane. Okay, shut you down, keep going. Well, looks like we got a mason jar up here. Let's see what it's all about. And get another bottle here. Pull this one out. It's a vinegar common, but this one has, it looks like it's a bowl. There usually are. But I found lusterware and other stuff in this. It's you know, where you find one jar, you find more. This just does, I don't know what kind this is. What the hell? I get underneath it. If I can. It's a big one. Sorry about my camera work, but oh, it's a biggie. It's a big ball. Perfect drop Dell 1940s job. I'm not interested. Let me see what else was under here. Looked like there was a nylon stuck to it. There's that broken lid, porcelain lid to it. Here's something right behind that ball. You can see that? Some milk. They're in here big, they're in here tight because, you know, they're on the surface and, pyro. That means we're in the 40s here. Look at that. Let's wipe it off. There we go. See that? Kids saluting. It's a Tilton Dairy. That should be good. Put that in there. We're definitely in the 40s here. So, I mean, there were some good milk bottles in this time period, but everything else of this ilk at this time period was no real exceptions. I mean, there were great medicines or anything like that by the 40s. There was some old, you know, Kilmers or, you know, swamp roots, stuff like that hanging around. That was it. Okay. Don't see nothing. Let's go back. Well, I see a few things over here. And we're at the bottom, by the way. This dump isn't very deep. when you hit the black sand, you know you're pretty much at the bottom. So pull this stuff out. You can see virtually undug, nothing. There's a piece of glass there, glass there. There's a big bottle here. I don't know what it is. It's just, it's a Prohibition flask. See, it's whiskey flask, but it doesn't have federal law on it. And it's a cork bottle. So it was made in the 20s, most likely. You know, bottles of that kind were, you should be hitting some more stuff here. A lot of metal here. This is the famous Ponds. We know them from years ago. There's a blue bromo. You can see it was a cork top bromo. I mean a square top, or what do you want to call it? This here is still has the crap in it. We don't know. This is a little serum bottle, it looks like. Not an important entity. What's good about this is with a big scraper, I can cover a lot of area. And these tines are sort of thin. So a thin tine is a little bit more sensitive to glass when you're touching it, when you'll hear it scrape over it. And I can tell the difference between glass and metal, of course. There's a bottle right there, but that's nothing. As you can see, it really wasn't anything. There's a bottle right there. But when you get up in this area here, the top couple inches looks more like, yeah, it looks more like 40s to me. I think what they did was they were dumping here in the 20s, and then they just kept laying it over. Here's a little piece of pottery. That's a nice jar. Chip on it, but I think no, it's not marked, and it has a crack, but okay, who knows. You can see there's glass all through here. It's just, now that I know I'm at the bottom, I'll just bang through this, and I can go to another spot. There's several actually here, and I know where there's two that are pretty prolific. See, federal law. You heard that fall, right? There isn't any federal law, there's no real market for federal. And this, of course, is our famous, well, what is this? Oh, it's a citric of magnesia. I thought it was a citric of magnesia. I mean, you know, you can on citric of magnesias, you can get your whole collection. They made them for 100 years, and they made them for 100 years, and they still make it, of course, in plastic. And see, this is all 40s right up here, which is really has nothing to do with me. I stop at 1940s. I don't go any further. But that would have been a nice bottle. That's, holy crap. That looks like, yeah, you know what this was? This was what they call a icebox or refrigerator bottle. They're all fancy and everything. Well, let me clean this out, and then we may go into another spot. Talk to you later. Okay, here comes a milk. It's a creamer, and it's What kind is it? It's a Tilton City Dairy. There's the stars around the neck, if you can see that. So, I'm down at the very bottom here. It's not a deep dump. Not very deep at all. If I start scraping here, I'm at the bottom, so anything comes up. And you can see I'm sort of like in a layer of milk bottles. Like sometimes in this place, you'll find a section where somebody just threw a whole bunch of stuff, and all the same. And as you can see in this case, it's crap, but there's milk bottles in here. I don't know how many more in one piece, but like I said, you can see there's a whole ton load, and they're all like in a layer that is under this funky kind of waxy see, there's milk bottles. There's another one busted, along with sodas and everything else, and they're pretty much on the bottom of the dump. If I find anything in one piece, it will be down here. Guarantee these are all Tiltons. They all got the same configuration. I feel them in here. That stuff. Let me dig some more of this out so we can see it a little better, and see if we can get any more of these out of here. Like I said, I'm virtually packed with milk bottles here. Hold on. Real quick, I'm going to show you what is on this layer. I'm going to somewhere else. That's a cherry bottle. In the old days, they used cherries or any kind of preserve, and the bottle would be a little fancy. See, beyond that first layer is the bottom, and it is packed with milk bottles, but they were probably thrown in there when they broke. And you can see I've got in this layer, I've got Boku. I got Boku bottles here. This one here is federal law 40s. Up here is a no account, nothing. You can see there's bottles everywhere here in the here's a good bottle. These all have a little, all of these have a little chip on the lip. These Smile. Cool bottle. I might take one because I don't have them. Here's a medicine bottle. You can see that. That soda was nothing. I've got a few things over here. It's a Gould mustard, which is from the 40s, so it doesn't have any real value. baby. This is a vinegar, I can tell you right now. The length of it. See that? Either vinegars or apple wine divine. It's the sodas in the other stuff in here are like, they take a beating. There you got a Listerine, another one. There's a lot of those. Found a small Listerine. Now I found a big Listerine. There's a mug that broke. See, I'm just clearing off this area because I think I'm done over here. I found everything I'd want to find in one piece. A lot of stuff is in here, and it's all just damaged. There's a mug, damaged. It's all in there. This dump has, I mean, they jumped all the way to the top, which is weird, I think. Yeah, there's no cap layer really on this particular dump. There's another candy. We call them candies. I don't know what really went in them. Probably candy. Coffee jar. When you find a brown jar in that fashion, it's usually coffee. This is a alcohol bottle of some sort, probably, with the lines on it. I mean, I'm coming across bottles. It's not like I'm not, but it's not, they're not jumping out at me like, you know, you got something new for my collection, because all these bottles here I pretty much have. This is a whiskey, and I guarantee you it's, what does it say? It does say something. It's, oh yeah, it says federal law, but it's Scottish. You don't need it. These bottles are fairly common in this era. I mean, Prohibition was called off, and Scotland was the first to come to the call, seeing that they didn't have, there's a little blue bottle, somebody might want that. I sure really don't need it. And, you know, stone and pavement is a common factor in all these. This here is busted, and it was nothing but a Pluto bottle. Pluto water never interested me. I mean, the old Pluto bottles, I mean, there's some stuff here that, look at that one, crazy. There's stuff here, Absorbing Junior. Does that say something? No, it just has a texture to it. They're big on textured bottles in the 30s and the 40s. They were cheaper than, you know, embossing, I guess. I don't know. They were used for everything. Well, that's the story here. I'm going off to another section where I know there's a lot better than this. Huh. What is this? It's chipped. It's a Borden's. Don't need it. Okay then. See you later. In this place, you don't really have to worry how deep you go. You just find stuff right on the top. Here's a North Beach, New Jersey, tuberculin-free. Looks like Sally's Dairy. So we have a Sally's Dairy. I never heard of that one, but it was right here. As you can see, there's an area here that is. I'm gonna get rid of this all in here and see what's up and down. So let's go to it. We got some junk coming out of here, and I'm gonna scrape it off, see what it is. Hey, we got a horseshoe. Good luck. We got a bottle. It looks like one of those green minerals. See, I have a large piece of aluminum steel. All this stuff is right under my feet, by the way. It's a all this is junky metal. You can see that. And if you let that fall, and it looks like the metal is just in a superficial layer, really. There's the main game right there. But this stuff here, this nasty steel, if you look, see what I got. And there's steel here too. But the bottles are right here. More steel. There's I don't know what that is. Some form of cup. And I'm just trying to get the stuff before I heavy duty on this. I mean, steel layer is pretty much over the glass layer, but you can see there's layers here. That's about 3.5 feet down. I've got about 4 feet, and then I'm at the bottom. Let's go see what we got. We're at the bottom layer, the bottom layer here. See, this is a battery jar. You can see the lead in this, and probably 1920s. A melted pony. No loss there. There's a bottle right there. Big brown bottle. No account. I don't know what that says. Here's a medicine bottle. Again, a slick. Don't know what that says there. I mean, this place is packed with bottles. This is the bottle. This is bottle world here, and I'm pretty much about a couple of, maybe half a foot above the that's again, it's nothing really. I'm like, you go over here. This is the metal that I can't get around, but apparently there's a lot of stuff under here. You can see there's a mason jar down there. That's what this jar is. I could dig beyond it. There's a whiskey, a blob. We can just keep going here. Down in here, there's a lot of bottles you can see. They're all down here. There's something there. Another mason. I wouldn't mind having one of those or two. I found them last time I was here. They're pretty common. like those, like these things. Man, I just, oh, what's this? Oh, it's a little Skittle bottle, cracked. What else is down here? I see a big bottle down there. See that one down there? Now there's another section I want to hit here that's got later bottles, but you know what? If these early bottles don't pan out, what is down here? What is that? It's embossed. I think it might be a milk bottle. Yeah, it is. What kind of milk bottle is this? It's embossed. It has a slug plate, so. Kramer, Lakewood, that town had a few bottles in it. I'll tell you, milk bottles especially. If I could bend this thing back, there's probably a bunch of shit back here. Oh, you know what this is? That's a early gas line. They're throwing everything in here, folks. They didn't care. It was never going to be seen again, so they thought. But little did they know that people decided that they could have a hobby with including bottles. Look at that. See that? Bottle after bottle, broken after broken. I could knock this down. This isn't nothing. This ain't nothing. Let me, this looks like a, oh, sorry. Damn it. You know, I have to hold it. I don't have a tripod. And when you're in this situation, tripods are not going to work. There's something there that I want to dig out. Pull it out. It's another milk. But it's all cracked up. But it would have been a nice one. I don't know. Maybe not. I have that's a common company here. Okay, tell you what. Looks like things are going in this direction. So I'm gonna knock down this area and go forward. Because I can't go this way because it's metal drum. This is what that is actually. Okay. Keep going. See you in a little bit. Okay, we're in a whole different area today, and I'm going to show you some things in this section that is not as hard as the other that we have dug before. So it's later, but I don't know. I find the bottles here are in better condition, and they're easier to dig. Like I tell you, I'm digging bottles for 51 years, and I'm really starting to feel it now. This has this is a wine bottle. That ain't nothing. I hate to be crass about it, but you know, not every bottle you dig is going to be, you know, a home run. Here's something over here. Move this and see what this is. Another ketchup. Well, I'm really winning here. But again, people didn't really drink the good stuff, and they used a lot of condiments were a common thing, and everybody used them. This bottle's ready to come out. Probably nothing, I guarantee you. As you can see though, I've got, this is a lot of trash. There's busted teacup. There's another, there's a lot of Prohibition bottles in this area, so not that this one is going to be anything of note. No, it's not. It's just probably a big Canada Dry. I dug them here before. But you see, I mean, you know what that one is. This is a light bulb. You know what that is. Dig out that old happy light bulb here. Here's something interesting. I don't know what that is. It's a whiskey most of the time. And I'm hitting the bottle right there. They're all over the place here, folks, so do not be fearful. So are the rocks. So are the bloody rocks. And the vines. And all that other. This is an ink. I don't, you know, inks from the turn of the century are one thing. Inks from the mid-century are really nothing. By the time, you know, Parker's and Sanford and all them got the name, they didn't need to advertise through their stuff. They really didn't. It was self-explanatory. Yeah, what am I? In the section where there's ketchup, and that's it. Right now, it's all I'm seeing is ketchup. Let's get this bromo out of here. Oh, it's a milk of magnesia. Nice bottle though. I mean, you know, I don't really get impressed with them, unfortunately, anymore. Those things are so common. They're too common that if they weren't blue, you know, people would tell them, you know, just take a hike because they're so common. Boy, ketchup's up the yang here. I'm seeing ketchup after ketchup here. And of course tin. Hey, look at here. Hey, look at this. Rox Gusteau. He would cry for this right now. Look, I've got a whole jar of marbles. They're up there. See them? Let me get my glove off here and start picking them out. This is a bonanza. This is a bonanza of clay. I mean, there's a bottle probably full of these things. Look at them. Black swirl, an aqua swirl. Oh, there's a nice one. These all look like either Vitros or Champion. You know, with the 20s, Champion was a big company. You get that red. Look at that. Hey, Rox, this is for you, man. Look at this stuff. Holy marvel. Look, they're up here. They're coming out of here. There's another one up there. How many you got now? This is a bonanza. This is making my trip worthwhile here. Another aqua. Look. This was the day of the marbles. 1930s, man. Marbles were king. And I've got a whole... Look up there. See my finger? They're still coming out. How many? 2, 3. There's one in there. There's another one stuck in there somewhere. 3. Look at that mustard. Ketchup and mustard swirl. Blue swirl. Definitely these are champions or vitros. I don't know what they are, but they're beautiful. Let me put them in my pocket. Let me get this other one here. Look, check it out, man. What the hell? There's a blood red. Look at that. Oh my gosh, that's unreal. Now these marbles here, they're not youngsters. I'm sorry. These marbles are not youngsters. I'm in at least a 1930, anywhere from 1930 to 35. Okay, and look at that marble. It's a clear with a red swirl. That's a red. There's an orange. This one here, look at that. Look at that one with the red and the white patch. Holy moly. You know, these gotta be in whoever is making them, maybe they were Aggie agates, you know, or maybe they were Peltiers. We don't know. They're definitely not modern. That's for sure. But great. That is fabulous. That's all of them. I think I got 2 dozen. So there we have it. More marbles. Well, I'm coming up with a few other things. This is a cool jar. I don't know what went in it, but that's one. You got a definitely federal law whiskey in there. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here, so I'll let you run for a bit because I'm about to get out of here. I'm pretty beat. Yo. There's another. What's this? That's a caster. This here, I don't even have to worry about these. They're see, there's another one of those. Seagrams. That's what they were. Seagram 7. See a beer back there. I think that's a beer. Is that a beer? I don't know what it is. Broken, whatever it is. No? Yeah. No, it's not. It's a beer. It's a stubby 1930s. I think it has to tell you. See that? To the left is the, I think to the left is where the factory where it was made. To the right, that's the date, so we're looking at 36. And now at the bottom is the serial number of that particular bottle. So 36, that's sort of late, isn't it? I mean, after all, it'd be nice to dig in some 39s. I don't know. This one's coming down. Look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. Well, what's this? Broken milk. I mean, this giant rock is the reason why that came down. That the power of the rock is, and brick, they're the ones that bring the walls down. And if you see this, look at that. That's a bottle jam, right? I mean, unfortunately, they're not 100. They're only about 80 years old. They're not 100. Maybe they're 85. But anyway, dig this last. I mean, I'm seeing ketchups all along here, and I don't see anything like sodas or anything. I found sodas in the other side of town here, but not here. Tabasco sauce. Well, folks, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna big out here. Found those marbles. That was a boon for me. I didn't really expect. I mean, this is well, here we are again, back in New Jersey. I'm here on business, but I do find time to pursue my favorite hobby, which is, of course, bottles. And as you can see, I went out digging a couple of days ago, and I found a few. And I'm going to give you a little review of what I found. And these reviews that I do are basically to establish the date of the bottle for you, to tell you pretty much when these bottles were made, what was in them, and pretty much their value. Although a lot of these are varied, the value is not a set thing. Some people will put large amount of money on or the price of these bottles, and some will just nickel and dime them. Depend on the rarity. Some bottles are very rare. As a matter of fact, any local bottle that is only produced within a 50-mile radius or even a 10-mile radius, I'd consider them pretty rare. Also, the length of time that they were produced also will establish how rare they are. Well, let's start out with a bottle that isn't too rare, although in most areas it is. And this is the West End Brewery. Now, Utica, New York is where this bottle comes from, and this was a well-established brewery. People know this brewery as the Utica Club, and that name came after Prohibition. A West End bottle was produced all the way up until about 1920, 1919. When Prohibition struck, well, that was the end of their beer producing period for that time. A guy called Felix Matt, I think, started this way back in 1888, and he was well established when Prohibition struck, and being ahead of the curve, they had no problem in switching gears from beer to a malt beverage and soda. And when that occurred, through the 1920s, they changed their name from West End Brewery to Utica Club Beverages. And they stayed Utica Club even after Prohibition was ended. They produced beer again, and West End was no longer their logo, so it's Utica Club. And you can find those, I find them once in a while. They had a large distribution here in the northern East Coast. This bottle here, I would say, dates to about 1915 to about 1920. It's a machine-made bottle, It has 12.5 fluid ounces, and it has a register mark. And I'd assume that this bottle probably was made around 1918, 1919. And the value, well, the value is how much you want to pay for it. The next one here is the Hudson County Consumers Beverage or Brewery, okay, and at West Hoboken, New Jersey. Now, if you know anything about Hoboken, New Jersey, the first thing you realize is it's a small place. It's famous for being the city that is 1 mile square, and my father comes from there, and that's why this bottle sort of is nostalgic for me, although I don't think I've ever found one. And it's sick. It's not in the best condition. But this was an interesting company. It was founded by two brothers, the Barer brothers. They were Germans. And I think their name is Barer. Let me check my notes here. Yeah, actually, it's Basse, B-A-S-S-E, Basse brothers. They were Germans, and they came over and they started a brewery after working for a few of the other breweries around town. And this became a very popular brewery of its day. Unfortunately, though, it started in 1905. Some dates go back to 1901. But regardless, it lasted until 1920. It was one of the breweries that didn't stand the test of time or prohibition, and it closed down. And so this bottle probably was made, of course, before 1920. I'd say, again, 1917, 18, whatever. It's an interesting bottle. There's not much to it, really. But I don't have one, and it's from Hoboken, so it's sort of nostalgic for me. Although my memory of Hoboken aren't the pleasantest. Here's one I didn't find any information on, really. A Royal, Club Royal. It's the only reason really I picked it up is because it has a date, and it's one of the rare bottles that do have a date on it, and it says 1947. And there is an Owens, Illinois logo, but their date is obscure. I can't read it. But apparently the name of the guy who produced this was H.C. Dixentering, and I didn't find anything about him either. So it's an interesting bottle, fairly plain, probably had a paper label. Another anonymous bottle is this Lakewood bottle. It's Jacobson Brothers. Now, they were pretty big in the area. I mean, you'll find a lot of Jacobson bottles around, and they produce bottles all the way up into the 50s. This is probably a 40s, late 30s, early 40s, and it was a beverage bottle, soda most likely, and fairly common in this this county. We have Smile. Now, Smile is a popular national name bottle for the time period, 1930s and 40s. Some people even claim there might be a Pyro bottle out there with Smile on it, but I've never seen one. This one is a little rough shape. I found two of them. There's a mess of them, but what I notice is when I'm digging in a dump and I find several, if not dozens, of the same bottle, they're usually damaged, and that's probably because the bottler went through their bottles, seen the damaged ones, and tossed them. You know, especially you have a little lip chip here where the cap would go. Well, you can't have that. You know, usually this happens when somebody opens it with a a bottle opener vigorously, or they open it on a handle, or something. They don't have a bottle opener, so they just bang it up against a door handle or something like that, or a nail, and they'll damage the bottle. This one also has a small base damage to it. But it's a cool bottle. St. Louis was where this company was from, and they were pretty prolific. And their really claim to fame is that they were a soda fountain supplier. Orange extract and orange flavoring they produced, and they sold the juice, or the syrup, the orange syrup that went into the soda fountain drinks. They supplied them. So the bottles were secondary. They made their money supplying soda fountains with their syrup. But still in all, they had a pretty good distribution. Here is again another Lakewood bottle, which is far from St. Louis as you can get. One of my favorite bottles, although it's not a real rare bottle, it's an interesting one, because the only one I know, the only soda bottle I know that is an opaque black glass bottle, and it had orange drink in it, dry sparkling orange drink, Mission, from California. So say the name, Mission. And they were pretty popular too. They were a big bottler in California, and they had a clear bottle too, I assume. But this was their national brand. It had a good run. I think it went all the way from 33 or 33, no, farther than that. Because you know why? Because I see the 26. So this bottle was probably produced in 1926, but it probably ran until 1940. After 1940, I don't see this bottle anywhere. After 1938, I don't see this bottle. But it's a cool bottle if you get one. They just have it. They really stand out as a soda. Shifting gears here, we're going to go to the milks. Now, milk bottles were never my strong point. I'm back in the day when I started digging. Now we're talking 51 years ago. I'm not bragging about it. That's just the fact. Milk bottles weren't that collectible. There were that small group, like every other place, that every other kind of hobby. There's a small group, a niche collector branch, and there were milk bottle collectors back then, but for me they were just all over the place, and they didn't interest me. They look all pretty much the same. But as time wears on, and they're now very scarce in some places, and because people have such interest in the fact that family members, friends, whatever, once had a dairy, or they worked at a dairy. Even I worked at a dairy at one point in my life, Conover's Dairy, and I have a few of their bottles too. It now has a historical foundation, and let's talk about some of these. The one I'm putting out here first is this Pyro, which is unfortunately toasted, but it's a Tilton Dairy, and looks like kids playing. I don't know if they're holding a milk bottle or what they're doing here. And in the back, there's the information. Cloverdale, Tilton Cloverdale Dairies, that's what they were called. And they were pretty prolific. They put out a lot of stuff. You find their bottles almost every time you dig in a dump around here within this county. And they're so common that they really aren't that valuable. But this one I just brought to illustrate what happens to the pyro or the ACLs when they're in the ground too long. This one here, I couldn't find any information on it. It isn't a local bottle because, well, we don't know where this bottle comes from because Sally's Dairy Farms tuberculin tested store bottle. Well, you know what? It comes from North Branch, New Jersey. And nobody knows where North Branch, New Jersey is. I know Long Branch, New Jersey, so it's possible that it's north of Long Branch, but it's not on the map that way. But it's a cool little, pint. And Sally's, I don't know if it was a last name or the farmer's daughter's name. We'll never know that, but cool little store bottle. Probably not as common as some of them are. Here's one that is very common. It's a store bottle. It's Sheffield. They were a big player in the dairy industry in the East Coast. And this is a sour cream or yogurt, but usually sour cream came in these. And they're an interesting looking jar, but again, this is a Duraglass, so it's probably, it looks like it's 43. Anything with Duraglass on it, they developed Duraglass in 1940. It was an annealing process that strengthened the glass. Duraglass could go from hot to cold. It could take the thermal shock. So it was really popular, and Owens, Illinois developed it. But now most glass produced today, the annealing process has been advanced, so a lot of glass can take thermal shock. Not all of them, but most of your kitchenware. And milk bottles had to, because they sat there on somebody's porch or somebody's stoop, and it was 20 below or 95 degrees Fahrenheit. It had to take the heat and the cold. So Duraglass was a benefit for milk bottlers. Here's another Tilton, and you can see it's an Asbury Park bottle. This is a cool bottle. It has a logo in the back. Very clean. And they got their logo on the bottom too. Common for that time period. I don't know what glass company made this. Cannot tell. But that's another little cream. Now, I'm going to run real quick over these bottles, but we're going to get down to this little hoard of marbles that I found all in one shot. I mean, you find them from time to time, one or two or whatever. These came out of a broken jar and they just cascaded down into my lap. So I was fortunate enough, and although I'm not a real expert at marbles, I do study their origins and try to see where they come from. I lived out in Ohio for many years, and that's West Virginia and Ohio are your main sources for the factories that put out glass marbles. We all know what these, if you dig bottles or you collect them, you know that these are a form of not to be taken kind of bottle. This is probably an iodine or mercurochrome or some disinfectant that people would use medically, medicinally. And it's a beautiful little bottle, beautiful color, made by Maryland Glass, that made all the blue bottles that primarily you'd see. Bromo, Milka Magnesia, Milka Mags, they all were produced by this company. And this is just one example of their work. This one is a Siegert. It's a Bitters, Dr. Siegert and Son. This is a very small example of their bottle. They make all kinds of sizes, but this is their nip. And who would be nipping this? I don't know. If you ever tasted this stuff, it's pretty rough. It's supposed to be medicinal, but There's like 80% alcohol in it or some crap like that. I don't know. But that's a cool little bottle. This is an ink, and it's, I don't know, Sanford's probably. By this time in the 30s, Sanford was pretty big. Um, and it's just a cool, the way they put the swirls in it. That's a really cool little bottle. Now, what you have in front of you here is pretty much all the same kind of marble. They're smaller than average, so they're minis. They're little. They're, you know, they're about 1/3 the size of a normal marble. And if you can see, they are buried. They're beautiful in their make. These would be considered swirls, and I'm leaning toward Christensen, although Christensen had a small run. They weren't really, they're only around for about 15 years or something like that. I don't know exactly the date, but there was also acro agates, alley agates, but alley came a little later. These marbles are before 1940s. Marbles probably date from the late to mid 20s to the about the 1930s, and this could easily be a Christensen marble. It could be an acro. I'm not, as I said, I'm not an expert. There are ways of telling. This has a lot of playwear, so it wouldn't be, and so is these. So is this. This has a big nick out of it. Big messed up. That could have happened during the dumping. Here's an interesting little one. You can see it's a clear base, and it has a white swirl. It also has some damage to it, but because it's a red base, which I have rarely seen these, this leads me to believe that it might be a Christensen because of the clear base that they used to use. Here's a ketchup and mustard. It could be an acro. It's a little larger, like these two. These two marbles are larger. Let me get them in the sun a little bit. These are larger than these. These are really, if you look at the size, there's a difference there. This is a beautiful marble. And these are a clear base marble. Like Marble King, they're a modern marble from the 40s to the 50s to the 60s. They are an opaque white base. They're a white base marble, and the color is veneered on the outside. So are these. The color is veneered on the outside, but they seem to me to be clear. The base of the base marble was a clear marble, and then they rolled other colors on top of them. This one here also, believe it or not, is a clear marble. It just has this is a real showstopper, this one. I really love this marble. I like the little red one, but it's unfortunately very damaged. But all of these marbles are, there's another good example. You can see the little window, almost see through this marble, through the window, and there's a fold. An expert could tell me probably what these marbles were, who made these. Back in the day when these marbles were made, there were only like 3 companies going, national companies. There were regional glass companies making toy marbles, but there were only like 3 big ones in the 20s and the 30s, and that was Christensen, acro agate, and then Peltier. There could be Peltiers too, and then Aggie agates. So the Peltiers, he was a glass blower and started his own company after he left Acro Agate, and he was in the late 20s and early 30s. And it's possible that these are part of his production, although I am not an expert, as I said. So there it is. I'm going to go out hopefully tomorrow. I've got time. I'm working with some people that helping me out, but they're sick right now, so I have some downtime, and I might go out and dig for more treasures. In the meantime, hang in there. I'll be back, and hopefully with more interesting things. Have a great day, everybody, and we will talk to you later. Bye.